hi. This is a quick walkthrough of what we've built so far for milestone 5. This is just from the UI perspective. So our platform is to enable authors to collaborate when writing content, creative content in particular currently. So here we are on the main page, and we have three main objects on our platform, which is the books. Books can have multiple storylines, and then we have storylines themselves, which is a particular trajectory of a book, and then we've got chapters which make up a storyline. So here we are showing storylines because a storyline is basically a different version of a book. The book in itself on our platform is more like an idea. You can filter out your storylines by recommended, depending on your profile, and by the genre that you want. And so here I'm going to open a storyline, and here I'm on the storyline. I can also see that the book itself, the storyline is called Unbranded Frogs and Sausages, but there are a number of storylines that are branching off from each other in this book, and these are the chapters in that storyline. And so I can go ahead, maybe I can edit a certain chapter for a certain storyline, and these are the features or the buttons for editing different parts of the chapter, different things of the chapter. Here I can edit the details. Here I can add chapter notes. Here I can view my permissions, because you can add or remove permissions for people to collaborate. If you want the public to just collaborate, then you just give it public access like this. And then here's for adding chapters, deleting a chapter. We also have version histories, which are automatically created depending on the amount of content that you have written for a chapter. And then this is just to show that if I write something, it auto-saves. And that's it for the editor. And you also have these toggles for you to manage your profile, for you to manage your library of saved books. You also have your studio. So here I have all the books that I've created. I have my storylines. I can edit, I can delete them. I also have my chapters. I can delete, I can write, so I will go straight to the chapter, and then I can write more stuff for my chapter. And so now we go to the backend features. So this is my Visual Studio Code. We are using SvelteKit, and this is the meta framework on top of Svelte, the UI library. I'll take you kind of through the logical sequence of making a request and how that goes quickly. So first of all the requests, they go through the hooks.saver. This is kind of like a middleware, and then we have got different handlers. We've got Superbase handler, and we've got the TRPC handler. So TRPC is a library that enables us to have typing across our API when we are doing our development. So it's a very good developer experience. So that's why we're using TRPC. And so for the API calls, they are going through TRPC. So what happens if it's not an API call, it will just be handled here. It will just be handled here, and the request will go through to this routes folder. So this is basically file-based routing that SvelteKit provides. And then if it's going to TRPC, it will go to the routes folder for the TRPC library. And then so when it comes here, for example, if you are getting a list of books, it will go through to the books repository. So we are implementing the repository pattern here. So the repository is basically logic for getting a list of one of the objects, either book storylines or chapters. And then the repository is the one which will actually do an aggregate using the data model for that particular object. And we are using MongoDB for our database, so we are using Mongoose as the ODM. And so we are only using aggregates, so we are not using things like find and find one. And that is because if we go to our model, we want to do, so if you use a find or find one, for example, so this is the middleware for Mongoose, we will pass an error saying please use aggregate. And this is because we want to inject our own pipelines so that we make sure we are doing good permissions for our documents, which is very important when you're collaborating. You know, sometimes you don't want to give permissions to everybody. So yeah, this is our models, and this is where we create our documents. We are using the builder architecture. So this is our builder. It also enables us to make sure that our constructor is not too big, and then yeah, you just put whatever you want into your book. Some of these things are optional, so that is why we're using a builder model instead of having a big constructor. And then yeah, you build your thing. We're using transactions so that like if something doesn't go through, for example, none of it goes through, so it's an atomic transaction, which MongoDB provides for us if you want to do that. So yeah, basically this is it, and you can check out our platform on axone.network. Thank you.